All right, welcome to another episode of Closing Staff Podcast. This is Tradehold hosting here. I'm here with Distro.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Distro.
And we also have special guest again, Field Destroy.
I destroy, Field Destroy.
And once again, Cash Out is not with us. Because, recovering sickness, blah, blah, blah. We've said that in multiple episodes now.
We miss you, Cash Wrap.
Yeah, we do miss you.
The Cash Wrap's cluttered.
Cash Wrap.
There's a bunch of games everywhere. We need it cleared.
It's like you need to be here and clear up your mess.
Yeah. We're cleaning up after you, man. Alright, so we got a topic today. But how have you guys been doing? Just before we get on to the topic here.
Been doing good. I just got the platinum on Kakarot.
Nice.
Got all the achievements, completely filled out the encyclopedia. Yeah, that was my main mission before this new slew of games coming out. One of which being Final Fantasy VII. But we've already talked about all that. We've already covered all that, but been doing good.
Cool.
I've finally been getting I feel like my gaming stride back. I'm finally starting to get back on point to where I was before.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And I don't think you've been gaming much at all.
Well, not really. I've just been playing catch up on my tablet for a bunch of Otome games. Yes, Otome games.
She has like a million of them.
No, I do not.
She has like multiple copies of the same game. Just so
no, I don't know. Shut up!
She romances
people. Silence!
She says that as she stares off into the distance, counting the millions of ones that she has.
Yeah, millions of the pretty boys, animated 2D pretty boys that I can actually. Yeah, that's like, I can dream.
That's neither here nor there.
Here or there. I mean, that's the only thing I can do until I get my finally get my Coral Switch from Walmart because they haven't shipped it out, even though they said it was supposed to ship out on the 2nd or the 3rd.
They keep switching it.
And I gave my current Switch to my son for his birthday, so I don't want to take it back, just to play my own games. So I just been playing on my
5-year-olds getting Switches. What kind of world are we living in?
Yeah,
and occupied with Minecraft. Aside from that, all I've really been playing is Overwatch when the events come out. I haven't really touched anything else recently that I can think of that I finished.
Okay, it's all good. All right, so our topic
sounds good. Moving on.
It's okay, but once Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out, it's bye hubby. You can play your own thing. Go play on your Switch. It's my turn. My PS4. I play.
I play.
I play. Get out of here.
But so our topic is actually going to be new games, and especially Resealed, because that's a big thing when it comes, especially to GameStop. A lot of people always point out that GameStop, they open their one copy to put out in display. And then they try to sell it as brand new.
Oh man, I've gone to war with people over that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
plenty of times.
Where it's even like you just try to be nice, and you get to the point where it's just like, just go.
Well, we were talking about like Funko Land. We actually talked about recently in the previous recording how when they did it, because they did it as well, but they would give a discount to those who bought it. And actually, a lot of people don't know this. You can actually ask for that. It's called a shop-worn?
Shop-worn
discount. Mm-hmm. You can actually ask for that. But technically, they don't actually tell you about it.
Yeah.
But yes, it is something you can ask for.
You can ask for it. It also depends on the store whether or not they've been told to honor it or not. Mm-hmm. A lot of the new stores associates are not told.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that
GameStop
associates
it's not communicated to.
Exactly.
Most GameStop employees don't know what a trade ban is, and that's also a thing. Yeah. So
yeah, but the 10% discount, at least with like my shop too. You don't abuse it, but you utilize it as a tool.
Yeah.
Really help people out.
Yeah,
more or less.
Because especially with sealed games, when it came up to that, like my always policy was, I tell you the policy is strict. Just this is what GameStop expects right here. This is what it is. And I see what the reaction is. If the reaction is like, no, F you, F this, I hate this, then it's just like, you're not getting 10%. But if someone comes up and they're like, oh, yeah, I guess, kind of sucks, like, yeah, I'll be like, I'll help you out, too. I got you with your 10% shop worn on there,
Yeah.
Or if someone genuinely asks me, be like, hey, is there any way you could, like, discount a little bit, I've been looking forward to it or something. Like, what, I got you.
Yeah, more or less. I actually have no one's ever asked for a discount. Because a lot of times with my customers that came in and they got the last copies, I'm usually upfront with them and they know. I was like, hey, this is the last copy. Never been played before. We take it out so people don't touch it. The only person who probably touched it, whoever took it out of the case and then clean it. If you like, I still seal it. I don't use the stickers. That's one of the things I don't like, the circle stickers.
Oh, yeah,
so I've always ordered the sleeves. The slip-in sleeves, and a lot of stores don't know about those slip-on sleeves.
They are catching on now, but some of them are still using the stickers.
They're still using stickers. The stickers is like my last resort if I run out of sleeves. But I'm always the one who make sure we're fully stocked.
Stickers suck.
Yeah. They're annoying to take off, but you can take them off. It's just customers don't know how to do it, you know.
And like, it takes like even if you know how to, it takes a bit of effort.
Yeah. So a lot of times that's
with the residue that they actually leave behind.
Yeah.
But that's part of the whole resealing is because I know a lot of people argue it's like, oh, how do you know if it's still not open? It's like you put the sticker over it. It's very obvious.
Yeah.
If you remove that sticker. So
pretty much.
Yeah, and then for people that aren't really too familiar with the whole process, is you're in a store. There's literally your last copy of the game. How is that supposed to be displayed on the wall? Besides us having, let's say, this random ass like printed out janky kind of case, like no, we'll put up the actual display case up there because that's the last copy that we have, and that's just what we have to do.
It's like, even if it's a long line, I take my time explaining them why, because of the fact, you want them to get it.
Yeah, and I told them, like, if it wasn't on the wall, you wouldn't know you could buy it at that point. It would sit in the drawer. So it's just like, we're trying to display it for you guys the best way possible so that you can be able to buy it. But then you get that pushback right away where it's just like, well, then it's not brand new then.
Yeah.
And then you want to get, and if you want to get into the real nitty gritty, the real details, be like, well, sir, what do you consider to be brand new? And then it comes into the whole, like, well, my game brand new, is it with the seal and the wrapper and everything like that? And I was like, well, what we consider it to be brand new has never been put into console.
Yeah.
Never been played.
Never
been physically put into the console before, He's just like, well, how can you guarantee that?
When you put in a disc, you can easily tell if it's been...
but even then, too, it's just like...
You're going to be, like, that technical, my comeback will be like, well, technically, sir, when it came out of the assembly line, it could have been played before put into the case. So you don't know, you can't guarantee that either.
Yeah, right. And you see how it turns into this real, like, kind of just argument to where it's either, like, you're ready to have that argument, or you kind of just want to be like, just get out of here.
I'm ready to have that argument.
But I'd say 9 out of 10 times, too, no, I do the same thing where you just have to you don't care how long the line is, you just have to sit there and really explain it to them.
Until they understand, especially for new ones who don't understand.
Most of the time, they're happy if you give them a discount.
Yeah.
That's all they really want.
Yeah. Usually, I don't really bring up a discount until they say, I was like, can I get something off? I was like, okay, sure. I'll give you 10%.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just still give them normal price.
Yeah.
I mean, that's me, because, they don't ask for it.
They technically, GameStop doesn't want you to do that, because they want to maximize, obviously.
And then most of the times, my customers were all the time were like, well, I can make it, at least, I knew, is this a gift? I'll actually take my time to take off the label and make sure there's no residue and all the other things and reseal it nicely.
Yeah, I was about to say, that was my only exception. I was like, it's a gift, because there is something magical about taking the wrapper off as a kid.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see that.
I definitely agree with that, too. Yeah.
You're like, oh, it was a birthday gift. Like, okay, sir, I understand. I got
Even if it's not a gift,
like,
there's some customers like, I don't like the sticker residue when you take off the label. Here, let me take it off for you. Because I know how. It's just like, how do you take it off? And then other times they learn how after.
You get surgical
about retro gamers actually are really good at learning how to do that stuff.
Honestly, it's just you slowly take it off. If there is residue, same the sticker, just stick it back on, because that residue will stick back onto the sticker. You just kind of tap it.
Over and over. And Goo Gone is something that people use, but it also has like this really slimy feel.
It does not,
But
I don't recommend
if you do...
Sometimes alcohol works too.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you do Goo Gone, then you follow it up with alcohol. Because that will actually help with that. But
it's true. It's like a lot of things, cause especially with cases. Like I know with me, like I like having pristine cases and stuff like that. I'm not too anal about it, but I've met plenty of people that are just like, even for the smallest imperfection, even something I wouldn't consider imperfection, it's like no. So that's why I can see like even having the sticker on the case, it's like blasphemy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
I'm the same. I'm a very me. Like I would go in like when I get collector's edition, is there anything on the on the corner? Is there another copy?
Do you not have the greatest hits? Can I just have the?
I'm usually particular about everything. That's why I can understand a lot of the customers. So when it does come around, I'm like, all right, what is more content in my level? Obviously, it's not really my level. I prefer it sealed, but there's also games that release through third party, but not in store. But we take it in for trade in, so it's like, well. You get that whole circle kind of thing.
And have you ever really gotten a really good trade where you're like, oh man, this person took care of this case in this game?
Yeah,
and you're just like,
one in a million.
How dare I put a sticker on this case right now?
1 in a million, exactly.
Like that usually goes into our hold pile real quick for the employees. I might take this later. I might buy this.
Exactly.
Well, what do you think about GameStop's policy of opening one and putting it on display? And have you ever done something differently? As opposed to doing it that way.
Well, it makes sense, realistically, like in a business perspective, because you have to have all your product displayed.
Yeah.
But like as far as an alternative goes, there is no real alternative unless they send you marketing for that game specifically.
Those marketing boxes. Because if you're lucky to still have them.
Yeah, anything that you would have to do to make it, like, is way too much time that they don't give you.
Yeah.
So I'd have to personally, out of, like, go on my personal time and, like, print this stuff out or anything like that,
Yeah.
So it really depends on, like, like Field Destroyer was saying, was making sure that you make what you have look the best that you can to your standards, Like, even if it's not the best case, you do what you can to really get in there and fix it up, Yeah, but it's pretty rough, especially when you do see, like, let's say, like a deluxe edition or something, a steelbook case, someone would buy it and they would love to have it sealed.
Yeah.
But you're like, this is the last copy.
It's like, unfortunately,
I gotta have it up there. Because I remember before, we wouldn't put steelbooks up, like, like onto the wall or stuff. But you have that one district leader that comes through and they're like, nope.
Could I?
One of everything on the wall. Like,
Yeah, sometimes I'll make the generic case regardless and keep it there for as long as I can. It'll say limited edition.
Yeah.
Sealed, will be in the back cache. I'll make a little note every now and then before, or when I can, or if I ever had time, like, I'll do that.
The funny thing about the deluxe edition steelbook stuff is that the way that they seal it is a very generic shrink wrap. It's not even the Y-fold ones like you have in regular games. So it's funny when people complain about that one. I'm just like,
well, how many times too have we, let's say, gutted like a limited edition or something, and you're trying to keep all the contents and like together, but then next thing you know, in your drawer you have like stickers somewhere, and then you have like this item somewhere over us too, and you're like, you can't really keep it all together.
Oh well.
Or it just sits in your drawer forever.
Can't really say that one. I like to be peculiar because of that, so sometimes I'll actually put it in the accessory bag. All nice and neat, and they'll like, I showed so when they actually pull it up, I was like, here, this is okay like this, because they can see it's like completely sealed and still nice. So
because like I remember like when I took
more
over
chances
a store,
of selling.
You go back and you find like, let's say like Doom 3 BFG edition, the limited edition that's been in the drawer for like years, and you're like, is all the content still here? Like, is this really like all the stuff that came in the limited edition? Where's the box? You go out, there's no display case on the wall or anything. You're like, what's going on here? So there is definitely like a give and take for like kind of putting things on the wall and stuff too. And it really depends on the store as well, because like if you have someone like Field Destroyer that's actually keeping everything super nice and like compact for you and like separated, that's awesome. But I can see how different stores don't have that same level of attention to detail.
Yeah, that's the only downside, because you don't know how many store managers or anything like that will actually maintain a, like, considering a customer idea of like standards to getting their games to those who just don't give it.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, and that's what frustrated me, and my huge OCD and all this other stuff was just because of that. And then,
do you think that might have something to do with the fact that sometimes they hire outside so someone who's more sales than they are like a gamer?
That's what I think, because a lot of the times, even when I was transferring to multiple stores and I would meet a new store manager who was hired from the outside, like, their standards was completely different. So when they saw me doing like some things like that, they're like, why are you doing that? And it's like, I would always explain why, and it's like, oh, that's not too bad. So they'll take upon them whether or not they'll continue on training their others associates. That's up to them. So that's like was my own thing. And then having to force every time I transfer to another store, force like any of the new associates just like to go amongst that same standards. I'm pretty sure everyone's in my old stores used to hate the out of me, because of like.
Well, it's rough, like, especially taking over a store, and then, like, it's just, there's a whole different, whole different standard, whole different system, and then you realize that it's not that, like, let's say it's not the best of standards, but you know how to make it a lot better.
Yeah.
But people are so complacent and used to just doing the same thing.
They don't like change.
So that as soon as you bring in something new, they're like, no. Like, well, like, that's bad juju. Like, the last person didn't do that, and you're like, that's why they're not here.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, that's why I'm coming in to, like, try to... like revamp this place, really get like this new system in.
And that's why I remember you guys were always saying, hey, is this up to Field Destroy standards? I'm like, you guys shut up. That was a common thing I remember hearing from you guys. Is this Field Destroy standard? Is this up to Field Destroy standards? You know what? Yeah, right. But then it became a thing to all my other stores, so I was like, oh, well, okay. As long as I know.
I'm like, Field Destroy standards are my standards, so I'm like, this is obvious.
You're right,
I'm like, obvious. I wouldn't do it this way.
But even then, too, it's like, especially with the company coming through and expecting a lot of us as far as presentation and marketing and all this.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Especially when you do your TOH or your cat count, where you go through and you're making sure there's actual, like, boxes on the wall or art in the wall. Like, we were talking about it earlier, actually printing out cover art. Mm-hmm. Like, the whole process for having to print out cover art was first a pain in the ass.
Exactly.
Even if you didn't... Second off was the main question is, do you even have the jewel cases to have, like, that many cases on the wall? Like, or either that or you don't have way too many of a certain type. It's like you have all the PS3 cases, but you don't have any Xbox cases.
Yeah.
Or like vice versa. And then when you order them, you finally get them all, but it's just like, It just seems like it's just this big old struggle of ordering, printing, like organizing, and just like.
No comment on that one because I was always taught.
Yeah, right. No, like my store, like for the longest time, we had PS3 cases and we would order Xbox cases, right, to get Xbox cases, and we would not get them for the longest time. So we would have to go over to another store and be like, "Hey, do you guys have like a box of like Xbox 360 cases?" You know, and we'd be like, "Sweet," and then we bring them back over, you know. But then it just became this big old like hassle of why isn't the product on display, you know, on time? You know, why aren't these things coming through? You have that guy that trades in a giant stack of just CDs or just the discs, you know, rather, you know, and you're asking yourself, "Oh man, like how are we gonna get all this printed and going?" Right? It's really rough, especially when you're by yourself in the morning. You know, being by yourself from like 9 to, was it 1 or 2, you know, and having to do all these things right away is like...
That was... And then there was also part of the slow days because of the fact that there's no... Like, everyone's in school or work. So it makes it easy.
So, well, while we're on the topic, I do want to go back to new for a bit, but before, since we're on the topic of printed covers...
Well, because that happens sometimes when you do 2H for new ones. Excuse me.
What?
What?
Burped.
Well, no, I know that.
No, sometimes you'd have to you'd have to print something out for something that was new if it was missing. Yeah.
Yeah, when you do 2H for new games, you know, because some people, you know, 5-finger discount for an empty case. Come on, you know. So cases are obviously missing the wall. How are you gonna display it? You have the game, but not the case. So we would have to make that generic case with the 2H.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the complaints people make is that it's just a generic case. Like you can also, you know, just like print out the cover. Why can't you print out the cover? And I actually think that this actually has to do with a Nintendo thing that happened, a Nintendo and Blockbuster thing that happened way back in the early 90s. I don't know if you guys know about that, but when Blockbuster started their rentals, they would copy covers and instruction manuals for people who were renting. And so Nintendo filed a lawsuit on that because it's copyright, and eventually and I don't know if this is related, I'm pretty sure it is though. That's so eventually you couldn't make copies of like the covers anymore and instruction manuals. So legally you're not supposed to. And some stores do it, but they're not GameStop. And that's so that is a.
I can see that. It's like infringement of some kind.
Yeah, like, that's understandable.
Yeah, so
that does happen.
Blockbuster lost that one. So yeah, I think they may have settled out of court. I don't know.
That's rough. That's why they had the generic, just like
so that's why
just basic, you know.
So I think that's why when you get the marketing stuff, but the the covers that you put for marketing, I think that specifically you can only use that because GameStop probably paid to be able to put that in up for marketing. But otherwise, individual stores cannot print covers to make it look all nice and authentic.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That's understandable.
That's something that people probably don't know about. I don't know whether it is related to that, but I assume very much that it is.
It's just like anything with a copyright infringement, whether it's art pieces, fan art, things like that. It still can't be exactly these.
So just letting people know.
Yeah, right. No, I can definitely see that.
So that's why GameStop most likely does not print. Why they can only print generic covers.
Oh man! See, on a side story, like now that we're on this topic, I remember for the longest time we had a game out in the store, right? Like on one of the gondolas. I think it was like when the PS3 got condensed into a gondola. And I had asked one of my newer employees to make cover art, and I had shown him like the process and stuff like that. To which I thought he understood what I meant, right? So this guy made cover art for, I think it was Budokai 3, the 1 in 3 pack, the double pack.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then like he basically took like a printer sheet. And he drew his own cover art. Literally wrote the name. I'm pretty sure he was just trying to mess with me or something. You know what I mean? But then that game somehow, like he put it on there in the back. He wrote a description like Dragon Ball Z fighting game with Budokai 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, like all this stuff, right? Somehow made it into like the go back pile and then made it onto the floor. Until at one point, I don't know for how long it was out there. Like I go out there and I pull out one of the cases and I see it. And I'm just like, huh. Like what?
I would have loved to do that.
I was like,
drew the actual picture, or like
he drew like Goku, like Super Saiyan 4, like on the front, like And I was just like,
that's actually not bad.
I was like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like I pinpointed who it was, and then when I brought it up, like the smile that he gave me was just like you found it,
It was like smug, but at the same time proud.
And I told him, I was just like, I told you to make cover art for the game, and he's just like, I did make cover art for the game, and I'm just like, you idiot. Like, no, like you're supposed to go and you print it out like I showed you. He's just like, oh, I thought that was for like the stuff we had in the back or something. I'm like, oh man. keep in mind, not a seasonal GA. You know, keep in mind I inherited this employee. Like, and I was just like, oh man, like just the stories. I'm like, how many people
That
probably
would've
went
been-
through and picked it up and were just like, huh, like all right,
Man,
and then put it back in.
That would
You know,
have been
like
perfect for me to do my game descriptions when I, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, twice as modern,
right, twice as much.
Twice as
even more warfare.
No, but it's the way he looked too. It wasn't just done real quick. Like it looked like he had sat in there and actually like drew it out.
I would have loved.
So I'm like-
I would have loved to have done that
I'm
for the
pretty
cover.
sure
and then
as
the back
someone who
just-
actually appreciates drawing, they probably would have gotten the game.
Yeah, right. No, I was just like,
I'll buy this just because of
Just
this. This
because
is
of
freaking
case.
awesome.
I was just like, oh man, when did he get this? Like, when did he do this? Like, when I had the fat line, when he was on break, like, how did this happen?
Was it that
Like,
same day?
I don't know. That's
Or
the
he
thing,
probably
it's
had
like-
it before when you weren't even there.
Yeah, right. What's funny is I remember specifically asking him to make box art that day too, as well. And he pulled up for this one. I'm just like, yeah, and it was Budokai. So I'm just like, oh man, connecting the pieces. I'm just like, this guy. That's why I think pretty sure he was messing with me. You know what I mean? But at the same time, with the some of the behavior that I've seen, it's like I couldn't put it past him.
It's legit.
Yeah.
So how much of a joke with all
I know
the other
you've
games?
met this one, so
Oh, I
this
have.
employee, so we can bring it up
think
on pod.
I can assume between multiple people who it was.
Always wore a fedora.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Almost instant. That's like a trademark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah. But
Oh,
yeah.
man. Yeah.
So I mean, I've seen customers complain when it comes to new, like, why can't you just display it in the box? Obviously, you can't display it out in the store, still shrink wrap, because that's easily to be stolen.
Yes.
Which is a common thing that happens with GameStop, especially during the holidays.
Yeah.
Caught on people on camera several times, right?
Several times. Keep your camera.
And that's not new games. That's accessories.
Accessories. It can be new games like bundles. Like I have pretty good visual memory all the time when it comes to my store. So when I noticed like that same day something went missing, like big, I'm like, I asked my entire team, did you sell this? And then like almost like 30 minutes later, well, guess what? I see it on the camera. Like people stealing like the biggest stuff. So if we don't display it without, like a generic case, then most
Or like
likely
gutting it.
I love
Gutting it.
when you go up to like the lock pegs and you just see the little hook just hanging on there because they just
Yeah,
ripped it
they
off.
yanked things
They
off.
yanked it off.
It's like it's easy to tell
And you're
something's
just
stolen.
you're just like, oh man, like wasn't that there yesterday? Oh,
No,
boo.
and you can hear it too if they yank it wrong or if they actually bring, I don't know, something to help them with. It's just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So, and we're not like huge retailers where they actually have security stuff with it, which they probably should have. They do it on shirts. Why can't they do it on games? It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, right.
There's probably a lot of plastic.
Just
for
slip
that.
a little card, like in there with like something that'll beep. Who knows? But yeah, no, that's
You would
true.
think you would think as a specialized gaming store they would have the little plastic cases like all the other stores do. I think, but that like Best Buy and
I feel like people would still steal that though.
yeah,
I feel like they would take it and they would just find a way to still do it.
I think
but it would
also
be it would
depends.
still minimalize.
It will minimalize it for sure, and
then,
it really depends on your area.
yeah.
Like, cause I remember I was like, depending on like the 3 stores that I had one store, like the demographic was one way, and I had one store where demographic was completely different. And in the one store, I could definitely see them just straight taking a bunch of games and just running with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, oh man.
Actually, if I were to say, one of my first stores that I worked at, we actually had that security, is where you had that metal piece inside, and if you take out a game, it'll beep when you exit. So I thought that was like that for all the other stores until I actually transferred to some of them. I'm like, oh, I guess not. So seeing a reason why you can, take your games, even when they would walk out with a fake case, it's just like, it'll beep. So I guess it was kind of costly that they just kind of stopped in the middle.
That was my guess, is that probably was too costly.
Yeah. Because it was like that in the beginning, and I started, 2007? So that's what I started noticing later on. So I think that was like the cheapest way that GameStop can competing from them from, losing more money than they currently are now,
Right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh man.
And I've also seen people argue that why can't they just keep it sealed but keep it in the back, like not back room but like in the back shrine, that we're on display.
I was like, we did, but for the longest time, they didn't recommend it anymore. They're like, don't have actual sealed games like on your back cash wrap,
Yeah. Like, I think, a couple years later. And then
Yeah.
now they just put display cases.
Yeah, now it's all display.
Yeah, because that can actually be stolen too.
Right,
Yeah,
a whole
there's-
bunch of stuff like.
Yeah, if you're not behind the cash wrap and you step away for like 2 seconds, you don't know what happens. Like,
Yeah.
things can happen. People do like the craziest stuff, like when it comes to stealing at a store. I mean, people steal even just in Target and Walmart.
Yeah.
You know?
What's like the craziest or most amount you've seen someone take? Like on camera, like at your store, where you're just like, oh man, they got away with that. Like, damn it. Be it a headset or like anything, you know? Like,
so, I actually didn't see it on camera, but it happened right below me. Like, it was about almost $3,500 worth of stuff stolen. And it was a box full of new content.
oh, okay.
And this was at my first store. And I just got promoted to an ASL at that time. So, it was like a lot of F me, you know,
I know what
crap.
you mean. Yeah, like,
because at the time I had a new hire at that time. I don't remember if it was like seasonal or anything like that. She was watching me, like kind of shadowing me when I tried to speak to a guest, explaining something. I don't remember what we were explaining already. And then I had another associate to my right side who was already finishing up helping a guest, and we had our shipment to the end, and you know our exits to the other end. So and I didn't have a chance to put those back into our back room. So as we were talking to them, I guess it was the wife that was acting stupid. And then, and it was a dad and a kid. And I guess they kind of sneakily shoved the box onto their stroller and just walked out after the wife was being stupid. And then I had another guest who was like,
they just walked out with the box.
Yeah, just like, did you know that family, da-da-da-da-da. Like, I saw them inching. I thought that was their box. I was like, what box? And I looked to my side. I was like, oh. There's a missing box. Yeah, that was not a good experience as a first, ASL. I was like, oh. And then finally figure out the contents of the box. It totaled to about about $3,500.
Yeah, you found the distro number, no pun intended.
Yeah,
and then
found the distro number. Yeah, distro. Found the distro number, and then that was like the most stolen stuff from me.
Oh man,
and not on camera. It's not me. I guess the next one would be. When it was, I guess, 3 people who walked out with Guitar Hero and Rock Band.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It was like, those get pricey too when they first come out.
And they were holding like 3, and some like 2 big. I was like, I see that on camera, like literally, and it happened. I think it was like an hour later when I noticed it was empty, and I was looking at it. I was like, scroll through it.
Did we just sell all of them?
Yeah, because it was busy. I think this was during one of the holiday rushes. So I was like. Oh.
That's rough. I was like, oh, shit. You see, that stuff does happen too. Like we were talking, like with the amount of time that you're by yourself. Like the worst for me was we had just taken in, I think, a fat trade, and the thing was I was by myself and I was getting multiple trades. So the best thing that I could do was have the boxes with me right there next to me, so then I could just easily test it real quick, help somebody out, retest it, erase it, and then do my thing, clean it, and just like box them up, get them all set up. Just like, because when you're by yourself, you learn how to multitask real quick. Yeah. So I'm sitting there. I have at least, I think it was like a PS3, the real big one, the Foreman grill. I had like a 360. I think I had 2 slim PS3s on there, and then I had a Wii U, like right on the top, because everyone decided to trade their consoles that day. And I was chilling, and pretty much I was by myself. About like 1 or 2 o'clock comes around. My assistant manager finally comes in because I was key holder at the time. Pretty much, he walks up. We're all like, "Hey, what's going on?" It dawns on me. I look over. And I'm just like, "There's like 3 consoles missing," like from the stack. And I'm thinking like, "What's going on?" So I go into the back room real quick because he was always in the back room, and I just be like, "Hey, man, like, did you grab the consoles that were sitting right there? Like, did you start putting them away or anything? Like, did you do anything?" He's just like, "No, like, what are you talking about?" And I was just like, "What the fuck?" All right. I was like, "Well, can you do camera review real quick to see like what happened?" So pretty much it was when I had a fat line of basically people, like it was one of the last 2 people in the line basically came up. One of them broke off and went off to look like on the side, and I had an open cash wrap, so it was basically like, or an open register, so you can come in from both sides. Pretty much one of the people, I think they were friends, one of them pulls me over. He's just like, "Hey, can you help me out with the controller over here?" Pulls me over to the side, and I'm already like hella flustered because the line of people,
Yeah.
Just finally got through it, so I'm like, "Yeah, dude, let me help you out. Like, let's go over to the wall real quick." Go over to the wall, I'm helping him out. You remember asking him too, he's just like, "Yeah, like, what's up with these like scuff controllers that I keep hearing about? Like, what goes on?" I'm just like, "Oh yeah, like you can do this with it," and like he's got me in fucking where he needs me, right? Dude, and like that his friend, right, goes around the cash wrap basically, comes back and he grabs just basically like as much as he can carry, and he just goes straight out the door. And I didn't even think twice about it, because like I'm focused on this guy right here. Yeah. Come back around, and you already know how huge crowd of people come in. So I'm like helping all these people out again. It wasn't until I looked over, I'm like, "Oh no. Like, what's going on?" You can see it on camera too. He just came up and just picked him up and just walked straight out.
Yep. Yeah, sounds about right. The things, people crazy.
Yeah, and I was just like, they're totally, because I could see them, like, they were in line together, and they were kind of talking, and then he kind of, like, breaks away, and then, like, the dude I'm helping pulls me away from the cash wrap completely, and I'm just like, you sneaky devils, So that's why when people are asking, like, why don't you have this product, like, on the walls or anywhere and stuff, it's like, 'cause people are shady.
Yeah, people are shady. And people are, especially if you're by yourself. I mean, not granted, please don't do that. You know, eventually we'll catch you on camera. So, who knows?
Yeah, it's like, when you're by yourself like that for that amount of time, too, you know, it's like, you're only one person trying to take care of, like, all the stuff going on. And it gets rough.
Yeah.
It gets rough.
Yeah, so that's for customers who don't understand that. That's why there has to be a gutted copy. And another thing too is exposure, because you might not understand, but a lot of people are like when they go in, they're looking for their product right away. If they don't see it on the wall, they assume you don't have it. They don't ask because most people don't like to be bothered. They just like they look, oh, they don't have it, walk right out.
Pretty much, and then
even when you try to ask them for help, sometimes it's like, no, just browsing.
Yeah, more or less. That sounds about right. So, people don't like to talk to other people. I mean, and sometimes
Or it's like when I shop with my mom, I'd be like, Mom, why can't we just actually associate? No, we're gonna find it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we will find it on our own.
And not many think twice about asking to see if another store has it. So it's because how many new shoppers are there? How many common regulars?
Yeah, really depends. Really depends too. But like the balance of that too is mainly just a lot of new shoppers or just people. Depending on the time of year too, you get that influx of just people just gift shopping pretty much. You know, like how many times have you heard it's like I don't know anything about this stuff. Just sell me this one.
Yeah.
You're just like, all right.
Excuse me.
Stop burping.
I can't help it.
The look on her face was either she was thinking about something or a burp was coming.
Yeah, totally burp was coming. You already know by now I don't act very early, so.
Hey, you can burp as much as you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Hey.
All she had was coffee.
And water.
Coffee burps. But yeah, that being said, it's definitely rough being there, with a lot of new product and stuff. To your point too, would be a creative way to kind of display this product, in ways to where you can still show that you have it without actually having to put that product out there, Like they don't pay us enough to think about that.
Yeah, honestly,
I think it also costs money. So even if they were to put generic cases, like how they do for just the regular marketing, like the coming soon, I know in a lot of during the sale seasons, they would send marketing boxes with the price of the game, for the sale price. It'd be nice if they continue that, but if you think about it, it's still marketing that you have to pay for. The company loses money to, and to ship to every single store.
I think a good solution is actually going back to the plastic boxes with the metal inside, but limiting it to only new games, like new release games. So let's say you have each console section, like let's say PS4, Xbox One, Switch, will have 10 boxes, and they're only of the new games, up to 10. I'll say up to 10. So let's say Animal Crossing or Final Fantasy VII Remake or Persona 5 Royal. It's a sealed copy, but it's out there on display. It's in the plastic box with the metal detector thing.
Metal detector
but
inside.
All the other ones, eventually it gets to a point where the game's been out for a few months, so just gut it.
Yeah, that too. But then too is I feel like best hits should be in there because look at a game like Grand Theft Auto that still sells for $60.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's still going strong.
I think Grand Theft Auto has actually dropped.
I think it's more of a
30 now.
At 30? I thought it was still for ages 2030. It's like a classic still, isn't it?
Yeah, I was
gonna say, classic hit.
It still goes.
Yeah.
And then for the longest time, it's maintaining its price, and I'm pretty sure a lot of those games that do maintain their price,
Yeah.
Because I said you have your new titles, you have your your best a few bestsellers, and then that's it.
Yeah. So I think that's something that they could and they should have found a middle ground on. So.
But who knows? The company always has either good decisions or bad decisions, and recent years is kind of bad decisions.
Yeah. But new people on the board now, like Reggie, so hopefully they'll think of some other things they can do.
And actually take to point to actually listen to your employees for once.
Yeah.
They used to do that in the beginning. GameStop used to be honestly fun to me. And where they actually listen to your employees, where DLs actually listen to your employees, including regionals. But all of those good regionals and DLs left. All the good managers who knew how to handle their stores and handle their customers and actually think about their customers rather than their own sales prices, left. Because if those managers who think about their customers rather than the sales, you'll still reach those sales because you take care of your customers.
Yeah, people want to help you.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of people come in, they're just like, hey, man, like, how can I help out? And I'm just like, what do you mean? It's like, are you low on pre-owned? It's like, no, dude, you're good. And he's like, no, but he was just like, I shop here. I want to keep you guys going, you know? Like, I care about your business, so, like, what can I do to help?
Well, yeah, exactly.
I'm just like, well, what do you like, you know? You know, yeah, and it's like, and it goes from there, but... Yeah, it's totally true. If you have a base community of people that, you know, come and shop with you, you'll reach your numbers for sure.
Yeah. And then you have those regular customers that you've always taken like super well, will follow you wherever you transfer to, which I've had a couple. Surprisingly, they're like, I'm going to support your store. I'm like, but you live like 3 cities down, you know? I'm like, oh, you're on the other side of the city, yet you're still kind of here, you know? Because they know that you take care of them, and they'll drop all, like, and they're the customers that spend like so much money. So
instead of like shopping at their nearby one, they'll do like a bulk purchase when they go to yours. Yeah,
more or less. And like if they have no choice because we don't have the item for them, man, that's when they'll go to other stores.
Yeah.
But because of, you know, the fact that you actually take time to take care of them, they'll drop it to your store regardless. So you know your sales are always going to be up.
Yeah, it's always good too. Like, I knew I was, like, you know, in the good spot, like, with the regulars and stuff. Like, when you get to know them, they're coming in with their families, and then, like, one of my regulars' wife, like, calls the store, and she's just like, hey, don't tell them I'm gonna buy him a bunch of stuff for Christmas or his birthday.
Yeah, I get those.
You know, yeah.
Those, yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of just like, hey, you know this person? Yeah, like, I gotta hook him up. How can you help me? Like, you know? And I'll be like, okay, for sure. You know?
I remember there was every time I got one of those, it was just like, it's in the sales history. I'm like, yeah, I have to look it up, but they rarely look that up, you know? Very rare that someone looks up and goes, when did I buy this? Like, they don't look at their own transactions. They don't look at their activity. Yeah. So I'm like, you probably don't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
But you know, what do you think about the people who kind of blame employees for when they have to gut games? Because, you know, I know Field Destroy had something to say about this recently, because part of the retro group, where one person was complaining, I don't know why GameStop employees do this, where they gut the game, they sell it as new, and they put the sticker on it, and the pin in the ass to like
that post.
Take off. Yeah.
I mean, you know, honestly, I don't remember.
Already triggered. Yeah, look at that.
I don't remember what I said. I mean, we don't have a choice because it literally is the company's thing.
Yeah.
You know, and then he like, I can see that he had that one-track mind who not thinking of what the employees have to go through.
Yeah.
What they have to follow. What the store policy is.
About Metal Wolf Chaos XD. I remember that. But go on.
Wait, what?
The game that when he made the post, he was talking about Metal Wolf Chaos XD. But
did I post anything about what did I even say?
I don't
know.
No,
I think I was complaining to you.
Yeah, you're just PMing me, like, ugh. So
I think I'd have to look at it again to really remember what I wanted to complain about, aside from the fact that, I mean, it literally is, we don't have a freaking choice, you know. We have to follow company policy. If you don't want it, get the hell out of here. It's like my thinking of. It was like, go buy it elsewhere.
There's plenty of times, yeah, that's someone's like, you don't have to shop here. You know that, right?
Exactly. I mean,
like, I'm not forcing you to buy this game right now.
Actually, when it came, because it was Metal Wolf Chaos XD, that was actually a GameStop exclusive, unless you bought it from Special Reserves.
Okay, I've been in those situations too.
Oh wait, I think he was talking about the sticker though.
Yeah,
he was trying to take it off, and I was just on a tangent. Like I think in my head I was on a tangent of like, here, this is how you take it off so you can shut your trap. You know, it was because, you know, you can do so many ways, and we already said it in the beginning of how.
Yeah. Like, especially with Trade Hold too, is like, I got really good at taking those stickers off, and it's just knowing how to do it.
Yep.
You know, that's why a lot of the times too, if I knew it was a game that came out and it was going to be selling like right off the bat, yeah, I'd hold off real quick before, you know, let's say gutting a copy, because I knew they'd be you know, selling real quick.
I think if they still had a cover art, I would actually put that on the sales floor. I think that's what I did a couple of times for some of my stores when I knew it was going to be exclusive or, you know, going to sell out. I'll just throw in a cover art instead. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I didn't. Anyways, it's still sold. I mean,
right? No, exactly.
I think that's also, like, even if it's exclusive at GameStop, it was a game that actually had it wasn't rare. So if you were patient enough, you could have just asked if they can transfer from another store.
Another store or something, or just special request it real quick.
Yeah,
you know?
I actually did that with the Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy collection, because the local one that I went to when I wanted to pick it up was gutted, and they're like, yeah, no problem at all. And they contacted the store, the nearest one, because it was sold out at all the GameStops. And the nearest one was like an hour and a half away. And so they were like, "Oh, I'll call for you." And they call, and then like, "Oh, you know what? The one they had was gutted, but I found another one, and it's being transferred to me right now." I'm like, "Cool, thanks." And if you're patient, you can just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And,
it's too, is like being able to work with your customers, like trade wholesaling, field trade wholesaling too, knowing your people,
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And Metal Wolf Chaos was not a hard one to find brand new, so you really could have just went to another one and found it.
And it just seemed like that this person didn't have the patience to even deal with a lot of the things. So it's like, yeah, you can just
I believe when you were talking to me about it through PM, you were mentioning something about employees in regards to that, like how certain employees handle brand new games, and I don't know if you remember that.
Honestly, I don't. Like how they take care of it. Like what? Oh, because he was mentioning how there was like fingerprints and things like that or whatever. Is that what it was?
Maybe, possibly.
It's like those cringy videos where like someone's picking up a camera by the lens or like stuff like that. It's like,
yeah.
How dare you grab a disc, like, and leave your fingerprints
I'm not sure.
on
Maybe
it.
that's what he said, because there was, aside from fingerprints all over the case or anything, I don't know. It's just more of like, I can't really say, because there's stores who would actually take care of their stuff, and there's stores that don't. So you may never know which one your go-to store would be.
Yeah.
If your go-to store actually takes care of you, her customers, to actually pay attention to what customers are actually looking for in certain games, maybe they'll change their stuff. But you may never know, because other stores are literally different.
Yeah.
And I've worked at like 20 different GameStop stores.
Yeah.
So I can see how
that's
other
literal.
people.
That's literal. Yeah.
Yes.
It's not hard
she's
to
not
take
exaggerating. She actually has worked at like.
I have worked at multiple different stores.
I think you
worked,
actually said like 19 or 22 or something like that.
it was, if I were to combine those that I helped out for like a couple of days to the ones I transferred to the year that I worked at 3 stores in 1 year at the same time throughout that entire year, because they're trying to figure out whether to promote me or not. That was annoying. But yes, I've literally worked at least up to 20 stores from who knows what side of this area, And I've taken time to drive, and it was just because I took every ounce, and that's how I learned how to manage my own store, because this manager sucks, this store did it this way for this, handling their games, and this part is annoying as hell, so I'm gonna do it this way when it comes to my store. And it was a lot of give and take when it came to those. So
yeah, and I want to take a second and take a microfiber real quick to the disc real quick,
Yeah, exactly.
If you're looking at it,
that's why.
And you're just like, oh man, hold on.
That's why you would know when you guys worked with me, like, it was always fully stocked, always made sure it's something where it can be clean enough for a customer, Like, I would find every little thing to make it sure that we had a lot of regular customers come in, which it seemed to have worked for the most part. And that's why it's like, the store you went to probably did not take care of their games. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if you tell them, like, hey, is it better if you can, give your input, talk to the managers. Can you handle your games like this? Because I went to this store because they were a lot better. Which seemed to, I've actually had that happen like once or twice. Like, a customer came in, it's like, I told whatever you did to your store to another store, and they actually started doing it. And I'm like, huh, well, what do you know? Whether or not they're going to take that, that advice is that's up to
suggestion, recommendation,
advice and recommendation of how to handle it. Then you'll get more customers. Who knows?
Well, I feel like just the way you treat customers too, because like, I don't know if you've had the experience left, but ever since I've left the company, for a minute there, I hadn't gone to GameStop in the longest time. But then when I go into a GameStop, I'm not trying to just be like, oh, I used to be a store manager, or like I used to be a store leader, this and that. I like being a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Just kind of going and observing, seeing how different stores do it, because like, it's true, each store has their own little kind of like technique or vibe to it,
Yes.
And it's not until like I find that they just won't help me, like, and it's not that they can't help me. It's just I know they're not basically, let's say they're not even checking another store if they have it. They're not basically assisting me with seeing if they can maybe order it from like, the online or send an email out.
Yeah.
It's just straight up just, no, you're not getting this. Like, in certain situations where I just kind of to be like, but I know you can, like, but can't you just, all right, just hit F10, like, come over here, get all this open, like, and
actually,
let me show you how to send the email real quick.
I was just gonna say, have you done anything like that? Because I have a few times.
I've had to, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm the same, and like when I go in, I don't want to make it seem like, oh yeah, I used to work at one, but eventually it comes up because I'm just like, all right, do this.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, I guess on Trade Holds, like, because I was looking for the Elite Controller, the Series 2, and I know how they do their business usually. They put out a limited amount first, and then they cut it, and they don't basically release anything else. They keep it, like, super low stock and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I was sitting there, I was looking for it, and they're like, oh, no, there's no way you're finding that. I was just like, well, okay, no, for sure. Like, it's super out of stock. I know it's restricted, stuff like that. But I'd really like to, like, shop at your store because, like, one of my former employees is actually an ASL there now.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, no, I want to, like, go and I want to shop with you guys. Like, is there any way you could see if maybe another store has it? It's like, no one has it at all. I'm just like, well, can you check? At least act like you're typing, or something? Yeah, at least can I hear, like, the clicks or something? I didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm just like, well, like, for sure, but if maybe in any other stores have it in the area and stuff like that, not helping whatsoever. It's like, no, you're just not going to find it. I was like, well, is there a way that you can at least take maybe my name or my number down, and then you can basically give me a call if you hear any kind of news or anything like that? Because I know in the playbook there's a spot where you can do all this stuff, right? And he's just like, he's just like, no, we don't do any of that stuff. He's like, to be honest with you, like, if I took your number down, like, I don't think anyone's going to call you because it's just going to get lost. And I'm just like, really? And this is the store leader too. So I'm just like, oh man, like, what's going on here? To the point where I just like I said, I want to just be like, this is what you can do. This is what you can do. I used to be a store leader. I was kind of just like, I may just not shop there right now. Yeah, like, I might just go somewhere else. And then when I, go to another store, let's say with like Cricket, Cricket's like, oh yeah, no, we're finding you this controller. Like, we're getting this for you. And I'm just like, you know what? Even if we don't, I feel better now. Yeah. I feel good because I know he's going to go on that mission.
You're trying.
Because I only want to tell him too, is like, I understand it's super limited. It's going to be hard to find, but at least meet me halfway.
Yeah.
Because like, I remember it was the same issue with like, let's say the Pokemon Go Plus when it first came out. People were just like, oh no, it's impossible. You're not going to get it. And it's just like, no, as opposed to being like, hey, let me take your number down. Let me get your information. As soon as I hear anything, I'll communicate to you. It's going to be first come, first serve. But hey, like, anything I can do to help you out or make you feel better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It makes people feel better coming into your store. It's like, oh no, Trade Hold's got me. Distro's got me. Field Destroy's got me. Like, I feel more confidence walking in as opposed to just, oh, you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
It's too rare.
Yeah, I remember NCAP actually was really good at that. Because, I used to joke about him, like, call him the destroyer of dreams. Cause
oh, yeah, he really was the destroyer of dreams.
Because it was like, I would have something on hold, and it wouldn't be his fault, but it would get sold or given to somebody else, and I was like, oh. And he was the one who had to deliver that news to me just because he happened to be working when I came in and asked about it. And I was like, y'all's giving me bad news.
It's like, NCAP?
Oh yeah, no, NCAP was definitely the bearer of bad news. I remember when the PS4 pre-orders first went up, I was like telling him all day because we had a shift together. I was like, I'm coming in right after I get off at 5 o'clock. We're gonna put this pre-order in. You're gonna help me keep your freaking counter clear. I'm gonna bring everything in games. And then NCAP's like, yeah, dude, let's do it. I'll have it all set up for you and everything right that, right? Go home after a shift, grab all my stuff, come back. I'm super happy. Look NCAP in the eyes, and he's just like, oh, you're pre-ordering the PS4, right? He's like, yeah. Goes over, pre-orders had closed. And I'm just like,
oh no!
Yeah, right? and I'm looking at him, and I'm just like, like, really, dude? Yeah,
If only can take a picture of that look.
Yeah, and he's just like, it's not my fault. Like,
it's
I'm
totally your fault.
I'm just the messenger.
I can imagine NCAP just like, oh, I'm sorry, man.
Oh yeah, he gave me the.
So I put his shoulders together, head down.
Yeah, head down.
Man,
yeah.
That's
I didn't mean to do that.
I'm sorry, bro. Oh man.
I was gonna say, there was a section of the playbook that was for like customer requests, right?
It was customer solutions. That's what it was. Customer solutions.
Yeah.
Even when they made it to like the printing out one, where
Yeah.
you can print out the customer solutions. When we transitioned from the actual playbook to the binder,
Yeah.
it still was available to print out.
Yeah,
Which
I remember,
some stores don't even know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Still until now, they still have it available, but they don't even utilize the playbook.
I was gonna say, do they actually still use it? Because they don't seem like they do. And
the
I remember
playbook-
I used the crap out of that customer solution.
Dude, the
section.
playbook
Yeah.
was freaking legit. If you actually knew how to like structure it and then
Yeah.
utilize it, like literally, it was just like, take this. This is all you freaking need right here. Had like our housekeeping list, like everything that you need to do. You can basically print out a sheet that you can hand like the opener, and they can go through and make sure everything gets taken care of. And it's really easy to like. It's really laid out, really simple.
When you get
and you can add notes to
the printed ones, there's so much you can utilize if you learn how to utilize. And I always took like above and beyond. Like I would take, like, they didn't even have like the contact list. I made a contact list for like a regional DL, HR, things like that. If it's new ones, I'd write like at the bottom, and I would always do that. And it would always help like all my new associates every time coming to the store. So it's what current store managers doesn't seem to know right now.
So that's why I brought up. I'm just like, he's like, I know you can take my number down and put it in the playbook, and I'm probably gonna get like, what's the playbook? And I'll just be like, or you, what's like you.
Can I like just slap my forehead and be like, and you're a store manager?
Yeah.
I would assume it's probably probably an outside hire that was never fully trained on that. So,
yeah.
And you do have to say that GameStop, a lot of times when they do these new hires, it's one of those we don't have time to train you type of thing. So we train you on like the basics and that's it.
It's either you pick it up or you don't.
Yeah.
More or less. Whether or not another store would actually mention it to you to actually do it is another thing.
Or when you're actually like, let's say, finally have a moment where you're working with somebody else or helping another store and they're like, why are you doing it like this when you can do that? And you're like, oh, really? Yeah.
I think the only ones who still use it are the OGs or those who were still trained by like the OGs. Like my current store, my old store that I just quit. I mean, it was my GA that trained up to now ASL or SL. So now he still utilizes it. He stopped for a little bit because of the, throwing into an SL position, you can't really do anything. So other than that, after he got a hang of it, he's like utilizing it all over again and starts thinking about like what I taught him. I was like, I'm surprised you actually kept the store clean now.
Yeah,
definitely helps.
I was going to say probably some of the more particular managers, if they're like the kind of go-getter ones where they're like, I like, is there a way to like get back to customers or something like that with this? They probably also were able to find out from other managers, about the playbook and customer solutions.
Yeah.
But it's probably not most new managers.
No, unless you still have those associates. He's like, oh, you should ask this manager. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because that's what my current SL was mentioning. He was like, yeah, there's other people saying, oh, like Field Destroyer was your manager, right? Do you know how to do this? I'm like, and they're like asking that to him, so I'm just kind of laughing at it. It's like, cool, you kind of replaced me, because there's also another manager who's an OG that's in the same district that's still getting that, and it's like, oh, go ask Field Destroy's old store. It's like, what I'm still hearing until now. I'm like, cool, I still get remembered.
You're right. No, it's always the best feeling too.
Yeah, still get remembered. You know how to do that.
Yeah, I remember you still asking a lot for the marketing stuff. It's like, can I have that Pikachu? Poster.
Oh no, I have that very same Pikachu. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like there was a lot of marketing. Like when I first got there, I was just like, we're just throwing this away. Like I have so much GameStop marketing that it's ridiculous. Like I think I have marketing from I have a good 5-6 years of marketing saved. And I'm always telling myself, you know what, I'm gonna find a cool wall or something to put this on, or like I'll find when I have like my man cave or something, I'll just cover it with all this stuff. And nope, I just have like this stack of just like. And it's a lot of the good stuff too, like the squares and like everything. Yeah, like
I threw away some things. I'm like, you know what? This was meant to be something I was gonna give away. I'm not. I should store it away. But they were gonna be thrown away anyways, right? So
yeah. Shoot, I remember I used to have a marketing door that I did on one of my old stores because like I wanted to keep some of them because it is, but I can't. And then I got bored one time that I like one of my old stores still had one of those little doors that you open to block the cash wrap. So I actually had because I think it used to be in EB Games because they had that little door that closed. But yeah, so I was bored one time, and then I decided to cut out GameStop's mascot at one point. It was Buck the Bunny.
Oh yeah.
So I just attached him on the door, and then throughout the months, whenever we throw a marketing, it's like, oh, this is cool. So you'll see a Mario, I'll just attach it, and it'll just made a huge collage on the door, front and back. It was just so amusing. I still have pictures of it too. It's like I miss doing that, and I wish we could do that again. Decorate.
That's how you make it fun. But then a lot of district leaders nowadays, like ours, would come in and be like, "You can't do this."
Yeah, we had to take down the door.
What? It's like this doesn't look professional, or this isn't a plan, or anything like that.
Man, I remember actually wanted to. Actually, before I cut you off, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I was just about to say we had a lot of collectors, people that would collect the figures and stuff like that, trading cards, in one of the stores that I had. So we would any of the figurines that we didn't necessarily wanted to keep, we would just put them on top or just make it fun. And it's not that they look bad. It's not like we have them battling or anything like that. No, professional, lined up, on there. People come in, it looks cool, but no. Distributors we don't want fun.
Apparently not. That's why it sucks.
I remember I wanted to make custom badges for everybody. It's like a drawn picture with their name on it. Before, they came out with the newer name tag stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The one with the magnet?
The magnet one?
Yeah.
But that's more recent, right?
So. I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Magnets. 4 years now? 4 years? 5 years? 4 years. That's more recent.
I miss my GameStop liner. All the pins on there, makeshift name tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, first thing when I had my last day, I threw my name tag in the garbage. I was walking out. I was like, bye, GameStop.
She sent me that picture of flipping it off too. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, right. There we go.
How, like, I love the people that I worked with. I loved a few things, but, like, I'm tired of the BS. So, like, I'm done.
Same thing with me is, like, I think my last day was Cricket walked in through the door literally as I was about to leave. And I was just like, yes! Then we went and got beer. Yeah.
Celebrate.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was like just the man I want to see right now. Let's go. Yeah.
Well, I've been hearing mixed things about this. Are they still keeping up with the serial binders at all?
Yes.
Or they are, okay.
I know that's still being mentioned.
Some stores who don't do it.
There is some stores that don't do it because they just don't want to do it.
Okay.
If you take the time to do it, it's actually very beneficial.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, if you have somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, it can get easily convoluted. Like, someone look at this and be like, wait, this isn't console 2, or like, this one isn't 3, and you'd be like, well, then who scanned this last one? Oh, it was the last shift or something. And you're like, what the, man?
Yeah,
You have to go through and you have to match, yeah.
I know there's a couple of stores that didn't use the binders. Like, they stopped for a while until they were actually officially told by LP to do it. And then, how do you call this? I just remember the last SL was telling me, like, another store was calling me, how do you do this serial binder? Because
I don't see how it was hard at all.
It's the thing is, you find that it's easy task.
Yeah.
But for some people,
like, new store managers come in don't know about the serial binder. I think when they just come on, they don't know about it.
Okay.
That's why.
Yeah,
that's why they don't do it. So for those who were already started serial binder, even as a GA, would know, to make it.
Mm-hmm. When the PS4 and the Xbox One first came out, and like how crazy of a launch that was, and how much like stuff we had, that serial binder came through clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most definitely.
The serial binder, if anyone who doesn't know, that's for that's so you don't have to keep your systems outside. You keep in the back room. Each of them have their own labels, and they're
numbered.
They're numbered.
Not to be confused, our favorite cereals do go on there as well.
Yeah.
The what?
Our favorite cereals, Captain Crunch.
Remember, I made that.
Oh.
The quote-unquote cereal binder. I love that. Everyone's reaction to that was fantastic. They were just like, what the hell did you do?
Yes.
And I was over here like, oh yeah.
Was that when I left already?
No, you were still there.
Was I there? Hell, I don't remember.
I remember you commented on that too. I was like, yeah.
I probably did.
I put a Captain Crunch, and what else did I put on there? Honeycomb and
yeah, right, yeah.
But I mean, it was numbered, and there was supposed to be different serial numbers on there, so that like you scan the code, and then you scan the serial number of, let's say, number 1. The transaction goes through, the sale happens, then you bring out the console name labeled number 1, because that's the one that matches the serial number.
Maybe like you slapped a sticker on it. No, I'm just kidding.
And that's to prevent stuff, theft and other scams.
Yeah, the grab and run and thefts.
Yeah, grab and run. Like, there's also people who try to pay with fake cards. And they might be there, like, you can bring it out, and they're trying to select, oh, it's not working, and it's probably a stolen card, and then they try to swipe it, So,
yeah.
How many times have, like, any of you had someone come up with, like, to say, I want a PS4? And you're just like, okay, cool. Like, you go through your spiel and everything, they're like, no, just the PS4.
Yeah.
Do you have a membership or anything? No, like, I just want the PS4, and I just want to get out.
It was already a green flag, or red flag right there.
Green flag, I'm selling it.
Sorry.
Just kidding.
Red flag right there, and not a green to, go.
Yeah.
It's just a red flag as soon as it's just like, I just want the
And I'm just like, oh, this card's it's not gonna go through, it's gonna decline, huh? Oh, I'm sorry, your card declined.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, it declined again.
Sorry, it just started me thinking of the whole chip issue and how they try to act stupid.
Yeah, and I remember it's another red flag is when they go, oh, can you bring one out and show me? Like, no.
Nope.
That's the reason why we do it this way, is to prevent theft,
Exactly.
But, they're just like, oh, I just want to see it. I'm like,
yeah, if there is, I would bring out a display box instead. This is what it looks like. You can see it.
I'm like, that's such a red flag.
Yeah. Even when we had to temporarily stop the serial binder because of, I guess, like, holiday season, I would hug the console and I would be step back from it. It's like, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's like, can I touch it? I'm like, no.
Yeah, so that's what I was telling you.
Like, I can hold it. Sorry, unfortunately, we got it, I can show you here. It's a physically, it's real.
Be like, this is mine until you buy it.
It's either that, or I'd walk around the cash wrap and stand in front of them. Here's the box. That's like my last resort if they want to hold it.
Yeah.
Because I would block their view. If anything, I would, push them back. Lose your balance. Get out of here. That's my thing. Like, my own thought.
Yeah, right. Because back to people being shady. Like they will swipe it.
There's people who will swipe because they'll, people will think you're stupid.
Yeah. Which, unfortunately, while we were talking about it, there are stupid people.
There's a lot of stupid
people. And, I mean, if you're still a new store manager or assistant store manager, just the serial binder is such,
it helps out, because, like, even, I remember we had an SGA at another store, like, I was talking to my store manager, and he was just like, dude, I don't know what to do, man. I'm like, what happened? He's like, someone just swiped a console. I was like, well, what happened? It was like, apparently the SGA had taken the console and, like, put it on the counter, right, and they were doing the transaction. But then the person last minute was like, "Oh, can I get a controller too?" And you're just like, "Oh yeah, what controller do you want?" Like turns to like grab a controller, and then that time just picked it up and just left out.
That's another thing too. It's just like if you're gonna take it out, put it on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Like don't. Like,
as soon as they ask you for something, it's like, "Oh, can I get that too?" Automatically grab the console from the counter and put it like on the floor.
Even if you don't even if you don't do that, when you bring it out and scan it, put it on the floor right afterwards.
Yeah.
Don't put it on the counter. Yeah, that's just something. I mean, I think that's a first instinct for people to put it on the counter as soon as they bring it out.
Yeah, if you've experienced a lot of theft already.
Yeah.
And if your manager or any other associates with you has experienced like multiple things, they should already tell you off the bat as a new associate. Like, this is what you should try to avoid, making things easy to grab by other people. Make sure when you lock a peg, sometimes it doesn't even lock properly. So make sure as soon as you gotta tug on it after you let go of the magnet, which a lot of people also miss.
Just that's what she said moment, but she continued on with the magnet.
Is that why your face lit up?
It's exactly what I said. Go ahead. Okay, I'm a she.
About while we're on the subject of theft, and actually this is not actually on subject, but converting new to pre-owned, and sometimes the collector's edition actually gets like stripped and stuff. What do you guys think about that?
Depends,
Depends, yeah. Sometimes I think what I did was...
I was like, what was your policy on that?
I think it depends on the product. I mean, we would still sell it as a collector's with full thing, but they buy it for the used price.
Yeah.
When gift it. Sometimes if we don't want the space because it's like big collectors and get out of the way, I literally just got the game, and then whoever walks in, hey, you want this collector's? There's no game, but you can get all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
I usually do that.
I was about to say, it depends on if I knew it would sell still. Then I'd be like, yeah, keep everything together. But also, if I knew someone really liked the game, I'd use it as like a morale booster too.
Yeah.
Just like, hey guys, like
sometimes
here you
use
go.
it as a raffle if it's during that time of a release of another game.
Yeah, or something like that, yeah. But for the most part, it was the same way. Regular comes in, it's just like, I know you like this, huh? Like, yeah.
I was like, here you go.
Yeah, Field Destroy used to do that for me. Actually, I'm pretty sure multiple employees used to do that for me. It was like, yeah, you collect this type of stuff, right? Yeah.
It was like, here you go, have it.
Yeah. I think that's for the most part beneficial just for customers in general.
You're right. I feel like I got a lot of cool stuff myself personally too, because I remember like Gears of War, like I think it was 3, like their collector's edition like went from like new to pre-owned at one point. I was like, oh yeah, like let's go, yeah.
I think I remember I took one. I think it was a Halo 3 collector's edition. I brought it back and gave it as like a birthday gift for my husband's brother.
Nice.
I was like, cool, here you go. I don't have to spend money because I'm broke as hell. I mean, he was into Halo at that time, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, right? You're just like, here you go.
Here you go!
Man, I wonder, do you remember when Halo 5 came out, they did like that massive statue that like connects together and stuff like that? Those did not sell. Are those freaking pre-owned nowadays? Like,
I don't know if that's actually converted to pre-owned yet.
It did.
Did it convert to pre-owned?
It did.
For how much though? Like,
but
like, how much did it drop as far as price goes? Do you know? Like,
I think what our standard pre-owned game was. So I don't remember how the total
so if
of
anything,
that thing
we
was.
could just be like, hey, let me get that statue.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, they made a huge sale on it because it was term of another one where it was literally I think like $50.
Yeah, I actually was gonna say I think that's I remember that too.
It went
on
so
sale.
fucking big too.
It was
wasn't it only like months ago too? Like wasn't it like 6 months ago or something like that?
Something like that. They made it on they put it on sale. I remember they put it on sale, and then it was like after that sale, maybe like a month or two later, they just converted to used because I think that's when most of the stock was already gone.
Yeah, see, and stuff like that too. Like you want to get it out of your store, those statues are freaking huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
actually, vaguely remember Funkoland forwarded that to me, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I have no place to put it.
Because they were like, it was like the box is like.
Oh no, it's huge. It was
huge.
And they sent us like 8 of them, and we're sitting here like, no one's gonna buy all these. Like only like 3 of them are pre-ordered.
I wanted that Titanfall one.
Oh, the ogre statue?
Yeah,
that one was big. Yeah,
dude.
I don't remember what happens to that one.
I think that was
all of those sold.
That went on clearance. I remember that.
Those ones sold quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember walking in that day and being like, "Oh, snap! Like these are the collectors, right on."
Yeah. No, they had some stores still had them, and so they clearanced them eventually. But it was just one of those situations where I was like, this thing is freaking huge. Where do you put it? Like, I remember walking into one and I was like, dude, I would get that. I just don't know where I would put it.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It's like even the Death Stranding collector is pretty big. but like I feel like the ogre statue was bigger than that one.
No,
right?
it was
like,
way bigger than that.
It was way bigger than that, right? Yeah.
It was bigger than that. I think
it was about the size of the Diva statue.
Yeah, I was gonna
right?
say it's like the size of the Diva, but probably shorter, but wider.
But wider, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that Diva statue is awesome. But it's huge. It's huge.
It's like $400.
Remember when that thing was in my store?
$450, yeah.
We got it randomly.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? Like someone thought they were pre-ordering the other one. I think it was like the smaller statue.
Yeah.
You know,
the Figma.
The Figma. But then he realized they pre-ordered the big one.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, oops.
So we got the big one. He's just like, I'm not paying for this giant statue. I have nowhere to put it. I was like, where do I put it? In my bathroom? Like, you know.
Such a dope statue. That's a super nice statue.
It has a nice paint job on it too, and like it's really well put together.
Yeah.
So worth the price. So it's worth the price.
Yeah, sure. It's worth the well if you're into like figures and stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay for that much for it, but I got it as a gift, so I can't complain. Diva is the one I main when I play Overwatch. So.
For those that can't see too, he's got the beanie.
Yep, I'm wearing the Diva
currently
beanie right now.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, man, yeah, but moving things to pre-owned from new, that's a good point too. There's a lot of stuff like that happen.
Yeah.
And they still do those conversions no matter what.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was the Final Fantasy X remake that came out. Came with like this really cool little booklet, and it had like this art cards and stuff like that. I remember when that I think got converted to pre-owned. I was like, oh yeah, like let's go.
I think that's when I got mine actually. At least for the PS4 one.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if mine was the PS3 one or the PS4 one. I got one. We did it. And I was like, oh, I'm taking these. These are mine. That and like Kingdom Hearts, like those ones with the pins and stuff. Like I remember that was pretty cool.
I still have mine.
Like. Yeah, like there was a lot of those that came out where it's just like, oh man, these are getting converted. Let's go.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff.
Good memories. But I think that's all we have to say with that, right? There's anything else?
I think we have good time too.
Yeah, there's not much.
We're in the store and they haven't kicked us out yet.
As long as you pay attention, you guys got to consider. I mean, it's not our fault for a lot of them.
Yeah.
And it's mainly the company.
I know this is a generalization too, that all GameStop employees think this way, but no, we don't. Some of us are very tidy. We want to, we understand because we play and collect games too. Yeah. And some don't. Because
they're either hired from the outside or
they just don't care.
They don't care. Rose-colored eyes is what I always like to put it, right? It's like, you have rose-colored eyes.
Yeah.
Everything's all rosy when it's technically not.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thanks everyone for giving us a listen again. Thanks Field Destroyer for coming back.
Hey, thank you for having me. Always glad to show up.
Thank you for destroying stuff.
Destroying stuff? I mean, if I can destroy more things, I totally would.
Yes.
Maybe not just games. Maybe the entire store. I'll blow it up.
Oh man, that being said, what would be your most epic just destroying the store fantasy? Would you go on and just start knocking the games off the walls? Would you tip over the RVT? What would you do if you had just free range?
If you had your fantasy,
my free roam of
Fallout
I would
76
totally
fantasy. That's what we call it, the Fallout 76 fantasy.
Fallout 76 fantasy. I have literally thought of taking things off the wall, ripping things off the things, trying to flip the cash app if I could. Yeah, right? I've already always imagined when I get mad, you already see me wanting to flip the cash app.
I've always wanted to kick over the freaking gift card rolling tower, the one that spins around. I've always wanted to just give that thing a nice kick and just watch everything just fall off.
Yeah, I would already literally knock everything down, taking it off the wall, just rip literally everything, and then what was I doing? That was just too hard on me. And then just to top it all off, TNT thrown inside the store, bam. My thing. I mean, I already quarterly kind of did that because we were doing a reset my last few shifts, and we did it one way because we thought we did the right way, but apparently not according to the stupid DL at the time. And so I had to show up another weekend to help out to do the reset, and I was like, the thing that I just did, I literally just flicked everything off the wall and not nicely take them off, and I was just throwing all the controllers, which I shouldn't have. I was literally throwing all the controllers off the floor in the display boxes, not even caring if it was messy as hell. And then, the SL and ASL at the time was just damn, she's literally destroying the store. Because she's so pissed at the DL. It's I hate this too, but she literally took advantage of it. It's okay. The next 2 shifts, it's my last shifts anyways. I don't give a care. But anyways, going on. That's my thing.
I feel we've all had those moments. If I could just go in and just kick that RVT over,
rip everything over.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Knocking over. I probably want to kick like the printer, and probably maybe even like the modem.
You know what's funny? The one skill that I learned.
Tower, I should say.
Yeah, we'll end with this because it's completely irrelevant and it doesn't matter. But I learned how to troubleshoot printers better, than anywhere. Like GameStop was my spot. Like because of our printer and the fact that it wouldn't print, it would jam, it would always be missing something. I can go up to any printer now and I feel confident knowing what to do.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
Yeah, it's just like GameStop taught me how to troubleshoot printers, like for real.
There's that. Even the label printer, I had to troubleshoot it myself because even sometimes the PS help desk was not helpful. So I would... The thing is, like, GSO was more helpful than POS support for a lot of things. So I'm like, you guys are stupid.
All right, guys, on that note.
Sorry, I'm on a tangent today. We should close up now.
It's great having you. Thank you for
listening. Before I want
to
blow everything else up again.
All right. So we're going to close up.
Closing.
We're going to kick Go Destroy out too.
Before I destroy more.
We also want to leave because we want to get out of here because we're already ready to destroy everything in here.
Yeah, right?